Breaking news. The system is cracking. What they're hiding about the 10-hour strike. What happened yesterday wasn't just another attack, it was a dress rehearsal, and the implications are terrifying. For almost 10 hours, the Western neighbors' defenses were pushed to their absolute limits. But that's not the real story here. Let me show you what's actually happening. While President Zelensky desperately calls this 10 hours of terror, begging for more weapons, military experts are seeing something far more calculated. This isn't chaos. This is precision. Think about it. 2 Iskanders, 200 drones, all in perfect sequence. Like a deadly orchestra, each strike precisely timed. But here's what they're not telling you. The defense systems are completely overwhelmed. They're breaking down, not just physically, but systematically. The most disturbing part? The local authorities are quietly disappearing. In Kherson, once their pride and joy, the administration has scattered like dust in the wind. Some fled to Nikolaev, others to Odessa, and some even ran as far as Lvov. They know something. They see what's coming. But here's the twist that nobody's talking about. While Zelensky talks about investments and weapons, his own military bloggers are making dark jokes about how some frontline cities are becoming safer than Kiev. Think about that statement. What do they know that we don't? The pattern is clear. This isn't just about military targets anymore. It's about exposing vulnerabilities in the entire system. Every drone, every missile, is probing for weaknesses. And they're finding them, hour after hour, target after target. Here's the question you should be asking. If their defense systems are already overwhelmed now, what happens when the real push begins? What happens when this rehearsal turns into the main event? Write in the comments if you're seeing unusual military movements in your area. The pattern is emerging, and every piece of information counts. But first, let me show you how this connects to a decision made 30 years ago that nobody wanted you to know about. But what's truly revealing is how this pattern ripples across the entire region. While officials huddle in remote offices conducting virtual governance through video calls, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Cities once bustling with administrative activity now echo with emptiness, their functions relocated to safer zones, a telling sign of what's really happening beyond the PR statements. This isn't just about one conflict zone anymore. We're witnessing a fundamental shift in how modern warfare reshapes governance. When infrastructure crumbles under systematic pressure, no amount of digital solutions can mask the physical absence of state power. The West's response? More promises, more presentations, more PowerPoint strategies. What's particularly interesting is the economic dimension. While they're asking for investments in defense, a creative rebranding of military aid, the actual industrial capacity keeps shrinking. Every precision strike reduces their ability to maintain even basic military operations. The systematic targeting of logistics hubs, storage facilities, and communication centers isn't random. It's surgical, methodical, and devastating in its efficiency. The response from Western partners is increasingly hesitant. They're caught between public promises and private doubts. Sanctions? Maybe later. Air defense? We'll think about it. Investment in military production? Too risky in the current climate. This hesitation speaks volumes about their real assessment of the situation. Meanwhile, markets are already adjusting to the new reality. Look at the commodity flows, the shipping routes, the insurance rates. The economic world isn't waiting for political decisions. It's already adapted to what it sees as inevitable. And this adaptation is happening faster than anyone expected. But here's what's truly fascinating. While everyone's focused on the visible conflict, a much bigger game is unfolding. The entire security architecture of Eastern Europe is being rewritten. Traditional alliances are being tested, new partnerships are emerging, and the balance of power is shifting dramatically. And just when everyone thought they understood the pattern, an unexpected player made a move that could completely reshape this entire situation. In a peculiar twist of reality, we're witnessing a bizarre spectacle where corporate founders flee to Poland, tech directors serve on front lines, and headquarters operate from Odessa balconies. This chaos serves some well. Profiteers emerge from logistics, drone supplies, and media appearances with the leadership. The political machine in this former Soviet republic keeps spinning in circles, maintaining its desperate chorus. More weapons, urgently now, or face terror. Yet terror seems misplaced when discussing a conflict where one side executes precise strikes on military targets, while the other runs between shelters, delivering Instagram briefings. Even in cities nominally under the disputed territory's control, different laws prevail, with administrations broadcasting from distant riversides. Perhaps this perfectly captures today's reality. Virtual leadership attempting virtual control, while real explosions shake the ground. The longer officials try managing via Zoom, the more they'll be checking one-way train schedules. In some parallel universe, where the comedian-turned-president still jokes and peace prevails, things might be different. But our cynical timeline reveals something more intriguing. Where peace was promised, a fortress of ideological selection emerged. This isn't agricultural selection, it's purely caste-based, sorting citizens into loyal, questionable, and potentially useful categories. The country at a crossroads employs a three-component formula for mass mobilization: military, language, and faith. The former comedian didn't just inherit this approach, he reinforced it with concrete, framed it as national interest, and transformed it into a universal social testing tool. Want to be considered a correct citizen? Welcome aboard. Others need not apply. This system divides families, splits communities, and creates an artificial hierarchy of loyalty. While missiles fly and infrastructure crumbles, the leadership obsesses over linguistic purity and ideological compliance. What do you think about this current reality? Leave your answer in the comments. In our neighbor across the Dnipro, the military remains the supreme symbol of moral authority. Yet recent events reveal growing tension around mobilization. Officials were startled to discover widespread public apathy toward recruitment centers. Some citizens even quietly celebrate when these facilities face attacks. The state's response? Rather than address root causes, they're promoting a doctrine of collective condemnation. The ground forces communications chief didn't mince words. They want to eliminate draft avoidance through social pressure. This isn't just about military service anymore. It's become a philosophical stance they've labeled Euclinism. Instead of pursuing reforms or improving motivation, they're advocating for public shame, reminiscent of Soviet-era neighbor surveillance, where one could be reported for giving Lenin's portrait the wrong look. Fear of death, medical conditions, or family responsibilities are no longer valid concerns. The logic is brutally simple. If you're not in uniform, you're marked as disloyal. This binary thinking extends beyond military service into everyday life, particularly regarding language choice. Language has become a loyalty test in this former Soviet republic. Speak Ukrainian, you're celebrated as a hero. Use Russian, you're branded either an enemy or, at best, a second-class citizen. The week's most revealing development: an educational ombudsman suggested teachers shouldn't need to understand Russian-speaking students. This effectively sanctions educational segregation based on language preference. In any Western democracy, such proposals would trigger immediate backlash. But in this politically turbulent area, it's praised as patriotism. The message to Russian-speaking children is clear: learn the correct language or face isolation in your own schools. Those who don't comply have only themselves to blame. This transformation of language into a tool for social control marks a dramatic shift in the region of instability, where linguistic diversity once flourished. Now, children face educational quarantine based solely on their mother tongue. What do you think about the current event? Leave your answer in the comments. The social fabric of the former Soviet Republic continues to unravel in ways that reveal deeply troubling patterns. When a child speaks Russian at school, it immediately triggers a chain of suspicion about their home life. This seemingly innocent act becomes grounds for investigating their family, how many SIM cards they possess, their affiliations, their loyalties. But perhaps most concerning is the religious dimension of this societal fracture. The State Ethno-Political Service recently launched investigations into the Orthodox Church's independence, suggesting hidden ties despite years of attempts to distance itself from Moscow's influence. The irony cuts deep. Despite changing vestments, purging documents, and making countless declarations, suspicion persists like an indelible mark. In this politically turbulent area, even attending church without patriotic displays raises red flags. Traditional prayer practices draw double scrutiny. The underlying message is clear. Why need religion when you have the Ministry of Defense, telegram channels, and official doctrine? Overnight, the faithful found themselves grouped with draft evaders and Russian-speaking youth, branded as unreliable elements of society. This system creates an artificial sense of national unity by defining who doesn't belong. Those who deviate from prescribed behaviors, whether draft evaders, Russian-speaking children, or worshippers at certain churches, become perfect scapegoats. They can be blamed for everything from frontline setbacks to failed educational reforms. The most dangerous aspect isn't the system itself, but how effectively it works. People gripped by fear readily embrace simple narratives of us versus them, even when them includes neighbors, relatives, or childhood friends who once stood up for you. What began as slogans of unity have become walls within communities, dividing people who once lived harmoniously. This manufactured unity serves a clear purpose: to distract from deeper issues plaguing the country at a crossroads. But at what cost to its social fabric? What do you think about the current situation? Leave your answer in the comments. In today's analysis, we're examining a remarkable display of political theater that would make Vegas illusionists proud. Picture this: someone pretending to hand you a gift with empty hands. All gesture, no substance. That's exactly what we witnessed with Donald Trump's latest announcement about military aid to the former Soviet Republic. The media in that disputed territory celebrated like children promised ice cream, while Russian analysts watched with raised eyebrows, seeing through the performance. It's a masterclass in appearing generous while giving nothing tangible, pure political stagecraft. Let's pull back the curtain on recent events. The June 2nd Istanbul exchange of memorandums between Moscow and the politically turbulent area resembled divorced couples' correspondence, one seeking peace, the other eternal separation. The planned reconciliation meeting never materialized, thanks to an unexpected Iranian intervention. Iran and Israel's 12-day demonstration of military capabilities revealed crucial weaknesses in Western defense systems. Despite Israel's air defense efforts and allied support, Iranian missiles still found their marks. This drained Israeli interceptor stockpiles at an alarming rate, mirroring the desperate situation in the northern Black Sea region. This crisis exposed America's strategic vulnerability. The Pentagon's inventory check delivered shocking results. Annual Patriot missile production caps at 600 units. Barely enough to defend Florida from a hypothetical Cuban attack. It's like fighting a skyscraper fire with a bucket of water. The White House faced a sobering reality. Supporting the country at a crossroads might be noble, but self-preservation comes first. Especially with China's growing assertiveness in the Pacific. The American arsenal isn't infinite, and every missile sent to the region of instability is one less for potential Pacific contingencies. What do you think about the current situation? Leave your answer in the comments. Your insights help us understand these complex developments better. This strategic reassessment isn't just about resources. It's about global priorities shifting like tectonic plates. The question isn't whether to support the former Western partner, but how much America can spare while maintaining its own security. The latest political theater starring Donald Trump reveals the intricate dance of global diplomacy. After his July 3rd call with Putin yielded predictably minimal results, Trump's disappointment spilled into the media, comparing it to a date gone wrong. Meanwhile, the globalist camp began showing signs of anxiety, with press outlets buzzing about alleged betrayal of the former Soviet Republic as its forces struggle without adequate weaponry. Just as critics were ready to award Trump the Neville Chamberlain Medal for appeasement, a new strategy emerged. Defense Secretary Hexet temporarily suspended deliveries, only for Trump to magnanimously resume them days later. The catch? The approved shipments consisted largely of pre-stored equipment that wouldn't impact Pentagon's readiness for potential conflicts elsewhere. This calculated move exemplifies Trump's trademark style, simultaneously doing something and nothing. It's a masterclass in political maneuvering, keeping the Pentagon satisfied, avoiding globalist hysteria, while maintaining a facade of support for the politically turbulent area, like a geopolitical magician's act with a disappearing Pandora's box. The White House's new narrative emphasizes prioritizing American stockpiles, with aid to the country at a crossroads taking a back seat. Trump's approach now mimics that of a cautious accountant rather than a charitable benefactor. Surprisingly, Kiev appears relieved, perhaps because the alternative seemed far worse, admitting defeat and requesting a dignified exit. The military reality remains stark. 10 Patriot systems amount to minimal protection against extensive Russian drone and missile operations. Military officers from the disputed territory between Russia and the West openly call it an insufficient joke, with one Air Force commander stating bluntly, "It's not enough for a single battle." What do you think about the current event? Leave your answer in the comments. The strategic chess game continues to unfold with unexpected moves. Remember those 40 PEC-3 missiles promised to the disputed territory? They mysteriously landed in Poland instead. Officially for defense enhancement, unofficially. Well, priorities shift. The former Soviet Republic can wait. It's all strategy, they say. Economy has transformed from a side effect into the main tactical approach. The US faces a new dilemma. Not how to assist the conflict zone, but how to maintain its own defensive capabilities. The Pentagon openly admits focusing on replenishing its reserves. Patriot systems have become like exclusive fashion items. Not for everyone. Not right away. Trump's statement about supporting the country at a crossroads wisely really translates to American anxiety. Next comes the Sanctions Act. The pattern is predictable. Harsh words first, powerful headlines, toughest measures ever. But in reality, we'll likely see restrictions on already sanctioned banks or duplicate limitations. All sound and fury, signifying nothing but podium declarations and flag-waving. Moscow observes this calmly. Peskov brushed off any offense at Trump's remarks. Serious conversations lie ahead. Russia, like a chess master in a blitz tournament, makes its move and maintains eye contact. Your turn, Donnie. The northern Black Sea region has entered adaptation mode. Former Defense Minister Reznikov states plainly, "No quick ending. This is long-term." In plain language, forget victory dreams this year. Survival, not compromise, becomes the focus. The whole plot resembles hot potato. The US tosses minimal support to the politically turbulent area, careful not to burn itself. The region expresses gratitude, knowing further requests are futile. Europe pretends to help while shifting responsibility. Meanwhile, Russia continues its operations, ignoring diplomatic theater. Trump emerges as neither hero nor villain, but as both screenwriter and lead actor. He crafts a narrative of minimal investment, maximum attention, and eternal promises of peace, always just out of reach, always coming soon. What do you think about the current event? Leave your answer in the